Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being with us on WFAA Plus. I'm Morgan Young, and we are about to bring you to a major update, a developing story we've been telling you about for weeks.
Come back
We're going to
up
listen
here
in as the Celina Police
you.
Department updates us on an investigation into a former
and
teacher
find out if there's any way that I can help y'all or assist y'all further. Okay? Chief Cullison will be walking in about 2 minutes, and he'll be walking in from this door to my left right over here. Okay? Just so y'all are aware. Okay? So give us a few minutes, and we'll go ahead and get started very soon. Okay? Thank you.
All right, what you're looking at right now, we're in a shot with the podium at the Celina Police Department. We weren't sure if they were getting started quite there yet and didn't want you to miss it. The Celina Police Department is going to update us on the investigation into Caleb Elliott, who is the former teacher and coach who is accused of exploiting children. 26-year-old Caleb Elliott faces state and federal charges, including 7 counts of production of child pornography and 1 count of attempted production of child pornography. This is a case that we have been reporting on for weeks, and it has been a really tumultuous time for the Celina Independent School District as this former educator is facing charges right now, and they have had 4 other educators unrelated to this case who have either resigned or been put on leave for different issues. But with this case specifically, there was fallout from this. The principal of the middle school where this former educator was working is now on leave, as well as the district's head football coach and athletic director, who is also the suspect's father. He is also on leave, and this investigation has been going on for weeks now. And so what we're expecting to hear from the Celina Police Department is an update on this investigation, the findings of this investigation, as well as the timeline for what could happen next as these counts go through the courts. And of course, perhaps the most important part for families in this community, how this could have happened. Again, former teacher Caleb Elliott is accused of capturing images of middle schoolers in the locker room without their knowledge, and this has been something that has really rocked this community. So what we're hoping for are answers from law enforcement this afternoon about what they have found, how this was able to happen, and if by any chance there were educators and administrators within the district who knew that this was happening, the extent of which they knew this was happening, and how long. So we are going to update you on this. You can see that the podium is set for this press conference. It's scheduled to start at noon, so we're expecting them to start in a couple minutes or so, and we're going to listen in and then of course recap what we hear. So we're going to keep it here with you for a little bit and check back in as we get closer to time.
All right on time. Welcome, everybody. I see some familiar faces here, and thank you for being here in our building. This is my team of detectives and also support staff. They all are members of the Celina Police Department. Good afternoon. Thank you for all being here today. I want to begin by thanking the members of the press and media for your professionalism and the patience throughout this investigation. Your role in helping keep our community and all of North Texans informed throughout this process has been invaluable. If you will forgive me today, I will be reading this statement more carefully than when I normally deliver remarks. I simply do not want to miss any details. Today, I can announce that the Celina Police Department has concluded the active phase of its criminal investigation into former Celina ISD teacher, coach, William Caleb Elliott. Before I walk you through the details of this investigation, I want to express my deepest and most heartfelt gratitude to the victims and their families. The courage it takes to come forward in this case like this cannot be overstated. These young people and their families have shown remarkable bravery throughout this investigation, even as they face difficult and painful circumstances. To the families who trust us with their children's stories, who cooperate with our investigators and our law enforcement partners, and who have the strength to help pursue justice, thank you. Your transparency has not only helped bring this investigation to its conclusion, but has also helped protect other children in our community. We recognize the emotional toll this has taken on you, and we remain committed to supporting you as this case moves through the legal process. I also want to emphasize that this investigation was conducted by the Celina Police Department in collaboration with federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies. And I want to acknowledge some critical partnerships that made our work possible. From near the very beginning of this investigation, our Criminal Investigations Division worked alongside dedicated professionals to include the Federal Bureau of Investigation Child Exploitation Division, the United States Attorney's Office in Eastern District of Texas, the Law Enforcement Division of the Office of Attorney General of Texas, the Texas Department of Family Protective Services, the Collin County District Attorney's Office, the Collin County Sheriff's Office, and the Collin County Children's Advocacy Center. The expertise, resources, and unwavering commitment these agencies brought to this investigation were instrumental in achieving the outcomes we will review today. This case exemplifies what can be accomplished when law enforcement agencies at every level work together with a shared mission: protecting our children and pursuing justice. To all of our partners, thank you for standing with us and with this community. Over the past 7 weeks, the Celina Police Department, in conjunction with our law enforcement partners, interviewed dozens of witnesses, potential witnesses, victims, subpoenaed relevant documents from entities such as Celina ISD, and obtained numerous search warrants for social media, data, and digital records, all of which our detectives and our partner agencies thoroughly and meticulously reviewed. As an example, criminal investigators from the Celina Police Department and the Texas Attorney General's Office jointly interviewed numerous Celina ISD staff and administrators. Additionally, Celina Police Department investigators interviewed dozens of victims, potential victims, family members, the suspect, and alleged suspects. And together, multiple law enforcement agencies extracted information and digital data from the subject's electronic devices. I can assure you, every witness account and allegation faced the highest level of law enforcement investigative scrutiny. Let me now walk you through the findings of this investigation. As a part of our commitment to transparency, much of this information has been released throughout the process of this investigation, but we are providing the information again as a summary of the findings of the investigation. The investigation itself began on October 3rd, 2025, when William Caleb Elliott was detained at Moore Middle School and subsequently was arrested and charged with invasive visual recording, which is a state jail felony. During the following week, as the investigation progressed, additional evidence led to another arrest and charge. On October the 9th, 2025, Mr. Elliott was charged with possession or promotion of child pornography, a felony of the second degree. During the investigation, our detectives obtained more than 10 images, but less than 50 images that meet the definition of child pornography. A total of 38 victims were identified in the digital data that was obtained from the electronic devices. On November the 7th, following additional investigation into witness accounts regarding allegations stemming from activities in the Moore Middle School locker room, Mr. Elliott was charged with sexual performance of a child, also a felony of the second degree. To my knowledge, Mr. Elliott has been in the custody of the Collin County Jail since his arrest on November the 7th. On Wednesday, November the 12th, Mr. Elliott was then indicted by a federal grand jury in the Eastern District of Texas on 7 counts of production of child pornography and on 1 count of attempted production of child pornography. A total of 8 federal counts were in that indictment. Along with these federal charges, the Celina Police Department has also referred our findings to the Collin County District Attorney's Office for prosecution and state charges. At this juncture, those are the only findings of this investigation that have led to criminal charges. I also want to take a moment to help the public understand the important distinction between our criminal investigation and the civil process. Legal teams in civil cases will have access to all our findings, And they're also able to subpoena witnesses for depositions, which are interviews given under oath in a formal legal setting. Historically, new evidence may sometimes arise during civil investigations that only emerges after witnesses are placed under oath. This is an important aspect of how our justice system works and a distinction worth noting as this process moves forward. I want to be absolutely clear. In the event that new evidence or allegations are admitted to the case during the legal process, our Criminal Investigation Division will immediately process that new information, and additional charges could be filed as a result. It is imperative to note that the criminal investigation is never truly finished in a matter such as this. This is why I stated earlier that only the active stage of the criminal investigation has been completed, based on the entirety of the information we have at this moment. We remain vigilant. We remain ready to act on any new information that comes to light. As I stated to the public on October the 27th, this investigation was committed to ensuring to our community that every lead will be pursued, and each would be handled with the most diligent attention and expert investigative police work. Today, I can tell you that we have kept that commitment. Every lead was pursued. Every piece of evidence was thoroughly examined. No stone was left unturned. As this matter now moves through the legal processes, the Celina Police Department will continue to cooperate fully with federal and state prosecutors, and we will continue to update the public as any pertinent information becomes available. As I mentioned earlier in my remarks, the Celina Police Department recognizes the impact this case has had on victims, their families, and the entire Celina community. Resources and support remain available through the Collin County Children's Advocacy Center and other victim service organizations, and through many of the generous churches in this city that have offered to assist victims and their families. Again, I wish to commend the exceptional work conducted by the Celina Criminal Investigations Division and our law enforcement partners throughout this complex and sensitive investigation. Our commitment to this community and the victims involved has been unwavering. The trust you have placed in us is not something we take lightly. Transparency and accountability are the core values of the Celina Police Department, and we will continue to operate with those principles at the forefront of everything we do. As this case now moves through the courts, let me be very clear to the residents of Celina. The safety and well-being of our children, our community, is our highest priority. When that safety is threatened, we will use every resource available to protect our community and to pursue justice for anyone who tries to harm them. Let me say it one more time. Any parent or individuals with additional information related to this case may continue to contact the Celina Police Department. Our officers will steadfastly pursue those leads in a timely manner. Due to the ongoing legal proceedings, I am limited to what additional details I can provide at this time, but I will do my best to answer your questions.
Chief, did you do any investigation on whether anyone knew about Caleb Elliott's behavior or actions and failed to report it? And if so, is that a crime?
Absolutely. We pursued every investigative lead, including those allegations we've heard in the community that people knew about this. Our investigation has led to that not being a fact at this time. Therefore, the criminal charges have been filed on the person who has been criminally held liable at this point.
Chief, can I be specific, though? Was the police department made aware of Elliott being caught placing cameras in the locker room during the 2024-25 school year? And was the police department contacted about any relationship, an intimate relationship between Elliott and the teenager/senior at Celina High School? Was that investigated? Is there any truth to this, sir? If so, why no additional charges?
Okay, I'm going to start with the first one, the installation of the cameras that was alleged. After numerous interviews conducted by our investigators and law enforcement partners, and after reviewing evidence based on records subpoenaed from Celina ISD, the criminal investigation found no evidence to substantiate any claims of cameras previously being placed in the locker room. Furthermore, investigators found no evidence of an email that allegedly circulated from the district regarding any hidden cameras. Should any parent have copies of such an email, my investigators would welcome such evidence. However, at this point in the investigation, no such evidence has been turned over to law enforcement. And then you had a second part to that question.
Was the police department contacted about any relationship between Elliot and his teacher at Celina while he was employed there?
Yeah, so there has been discussions about a boyfriend-partner relationship. So I'm going to kind of summarize that for you. Our investigators and our agency partners attempted to interview the alleged romantic partner and were denied that interview by his attorney. As I stated, lawyers can subpoena witnesses and they can choose to do so. But what I can confirm is that after reviewing the forensic evidence we had available to us, law enforcement cannot substantiate any criminal activity related to that individual. Or I will assure you, if that was true, additional charges would have been filed.
Chief, have you, in your investigators, interviewed Bill Elliott, his father? And can you talk about what he, if so, what he knew or did not know?
So we interviewed dozens of people, as I mentioned earlier in the speech. And in regards to Bill Elliott, as a termination of Celina ISD, Coach Bill Elliott was placed on administrative leave. You know that, pending the outcome of these investigations. Any personnel matters related to Celina ISD employees, unless criminal activity is substantiated, can only be addressed by the district. So to your question is, at this point in the investigations, no evidence exists to suggest that Bill Elliott engaged in criminal activity. We have. Yes.
Does he give any sort of indication that he knew about the relationship with this alleged student who is not cooperating, I guess, with your investigation? Do you have any knowledge of that relationship?
So if that were the case, if that were true, that he did know that, that would be a criminal allegation. We would have filed a case on him. Okay.
So is it, get it correct, so
Yeah.
your investigation says there's no evidence of the cameras being used in locker rooms. 24, 25 seasons. Was it the first time the department was made aware of what was October the 1st, October 3rd, correct? But the first time you're made aware of his alleged actions?
Yes, so as far as installing the cameras, again, we've conducted a number of investigations to determine that that wasn't true, and if so, then we would have filed an additional charge. And as far as the timeline, the allegations that sustain the arrest and the criminal case has been filed on Caleb Elliott are going to be centered on the spring of 2025 and the fall of 2025. Those are the time periods that we have condensed any criminal allegations to in a time frame.
Chief, we want to make
Yeah.
sure that we're understanding this concern. Was your police department involved, called, contacted, anything in these previous allegations? The locker
No.
room incident?
Absolutely not.
No.
No. So, yeah, so thank you for reframing that question. Specifically, the first day we learned of any criminal allegation, any wrongdoing was on October 3rd, the morning of that morning when two witnesses walked into our lobby. Subsequently, they were taken for forensic interviews. That same day, within 6 hours, William K. Elliott was in our custody.
So let me ask you, Chief, then, from the 2024, 25 situation where there may have been cameras in the locker room, whether someone reported that and there's an email or whatever to school, somebody reported to school, is that something that your police department should have been notified by, and by whom?
If that were indeed true, they have a responsibility to report. They have a duty to report. Nonetheless, our investigation has found that this is not to be true, that there was anyone in the school system knew about any criminal activity at all. Again, they were made aware of the criminal activity based on our investigation on the morning of October 3rd when we notified them that one of their employees was being arrested.
Chief, this case has caused a lot of mistrust among school district and city leadership. Is that why you felt the need to speak out today?
Really, the focus of this is to let the public know we have arrived in this investigation. I think it's important that people see that, hey, we've come to this point. We've exhausted every lead possible at our disposal. And at that point, I think the public needs to know what's going on. As far as the scrutiny the school districts received, that's for them to answer. I don't control their administrative investigations. I don't control their messaging. However, we let them focus on their administrative civil aspect. Our commitment is to the criminal investigation alone.
For the charge of sexual performance of a child,
So that would be getting into the very specifics of the investigation, which I'm going to decline to do right now. However, there was an episode on that particular date which led to the additional charge being filed, and it is in the hands of the Collin County District Attorney's Office.
Can you talk about the evidence that you, team, has collected? Is there any sort of evidence outside of the locker room? Is anything on a broader scope that you have found out about?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. So we would certainly review all those aspects, make sure we're not leaving anything unnoticed. But our criminal investigation found that based on the evidence we examined, there is no reason to believe the subject engaged in unlawful behavior with these victims outside the locker rooms of Moore Middle School. Again, we're going to isolate this incident. All the criminal allegations are related to taking photographs with a phone in the locker room on the spring of 2025 and the fall of 2025.
Chief,
Okay.
38 total alleged victims in this.
Mhm.
All more middle school, you just said. Can I ask, this was football players. Is it also correct that some basketball players may have been victimized?
Yeah, so this is a middle school locker room, and some of these boys play 2 or 3 sports. And so, if I was to answer that question specifically, I'd be going way off board. What I know is they are student athletes, and they were present in those locker rooms in the spring and the fall.
When you said that y'all talked to alleged suspects, what do you mean by that? Who else?
Yeah, as in the course of any criminal investigation, you're going to interview a number of people because sometimes people are named as a possible suspect, but get into the details of that investigation again would not be appropriate at this time.
I do just want to get some clarity on this. I know we've talked about it before with your question about the cameras not being placed in the locker room a year prior. You didn't find any evidence of that.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, are we off of our wording, and maybe because according to the attorneys, I think he didn't get to the level where cameras were actually installed. He had cameras in the locker room, and someone with administration was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I don't know if that would even substantiate the crime. I don't know if anything rose to that level. But was there
Yeah.
any incident whatsoever of him with just with a camera in the
Yeah.
locker room prior to this?
So our criminal investigation, along with our partners, has not revealed anything of substance related to that question. Again, our investigation and what was derived from the cell phone, that's where the digital images were stored. And there's no substantiation of a claim that there's any cameras in any other locker rooms or an attempt to place those in the locker room. Certainly, we're aware of the civil litigation, and we're always going to explore those kind of allegations, but we have found nothing of substance.
We understand that you came in after the fact. We get that to any potential allegations related to the situation previously, right? We understand that you're coming in afterward and backtracking.
Yes.
In your investigation, though, and backtracking, did you guys confirm that he was banned from the locker room at some point?
So that's going to be something that the Celina Independent School District would have to answer on an administrative level. What I will say that we found no correlation between any criminal activity and changes in his assignments. I think that should answer your question. Does it?
In your release, you conclude this part of the investigation, but is there any indication that there could indeed be more victims than the 38 that we're talking about? You
Yeah.
mentioned long people come forward, but is there any indication there could be more?
Yeah, at this time, there's no indication. However, this is always ongoing because finding justice for any victim, if they're not speaking up, that's a difficult thing for a child to do in a family, and there could be a delayed response. And so we're always open to that. Our door is open. We will answer that call, and we will investigate thoroughly, criminally, with our partners if those allegations are true. Yeah, so that, again, would be a Celina ISD question. We stay out of their business, and they'll make that decision.
Several other school district employees have been placed on are there criminal investigations into teachers?
No, there are not. All our criminal investigations have pointed directly to Caleb Elliott. We've also ruled out any other additional suspects or anyone that could be criminally involved with any activities at the school district.
And the slide that you looked at the hiring or kind of vetting process of William Caleb Elliott, because he was elementary school and he was, obviously, transferred or reassigned down to the middle school following an alleged incident with the alleged partner boyfriend who was cooperating. Has the department looked at
Yeah, so I'm going to, the caveat is we don't dig into their administrative decisions, but it would be unrealistic for us not to look at, is there a correlation between assignments and any criminal activity? Our investigation has determined that there is no correlation between that. But as far as why they moved him, that would be something that the Celina Independent School District would have to answer.
Take 3 more questions, okay? Just 3 more.
Yeah.
I know that this is, I can't even imagine how difficult it is
Yeah.
for you and these investigators. Through all this horrifying stuff, but, and I saw that you got choked up a little bit
Yeah.
when you were talking to the concern. This has rocked this community. It, like we said, it's called into question the integrity of what you have up there in your,
Yes.
the integrity of everyone who's in charge
Yeah.
of protecting our children. How difficult has this been, Chief? And to know if there is anyone who knew something and did not come forward, Chief,
Yeah.
what do you say about that and about that person or persons?
Yeah, so our investigation has not revealed that anyone did step forward. However, if we ever find out in the future, based on depositions, based on any additional criminal investigations, we will hold those people accountable. And I'm talking about the entire lineage. No one is immune from the long arm of the law, and we will go after anyone that did. However, at this time, there is no indication. Right now, it's limited to Caleb William Elliott. And to your point about, I live here in this city, I care about this city, and I'm going to read this too. I understand that multiple reports have surfaced in the past month, many unrelated to this case we are discussing today, that have been beyond unfortunate. As a parent and law enforcement officer with nearly 30 years of service, I can tell you that events like these may refine a community, but not define a community. Celina is a great place to live and work and to raise a family. And while no community is perfect, Celina is safe, it is thriving, and I believe our best days are before us. I have kids, and it impacts me as well.
The partner, say uncooperative, declining.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
I know you're talking about what you can do once the civil process starts to play out and you get positions. Can you maybe just clarify what your next steps will be with that person and if there's anything you are potentially able to get out of him to determine if
Yeah.
there was an improper relation?
So because we have nothing of criminal nature, we can't number one, we can't make him interview with us. He has to allow us to do so. So I would go back to your question would be, what are we going to do? We're going to sit and wait. Depositions are going to come out. If anything of criminal nature comes out of those depositions, we will follow through with those investigations. And if criminal charges are warranted, we will file those on those people. But at this time, there's nothing to indicate that there is anything criminal on his behalf, the partner.
Okay, last question.
Yes, sir.
Go back to this point, I really want to understand this. I believe there was district communication going back to the prior year that there was an incident that caused William Elliott to be banned from the boys' locker room. If there's no evidence to support that there were cameras in that locker room, then why was he banned from the boys' locker room without other coaches being with him?
Yeah, so I'm going to parallel, like I said earlier, that we're going to look in that from a criminal perspective. Nonetheless, we found nothing criminal that would indicate that he was moved because of some behavior alleged. And so as far as the personnel decision, again, I'd have to take that back and ask you to ask Celina ISD to answer that. Okay?
Thank y'all very much.
All right. Thank y'all. Great to see y'all. Thank you.
You have been watching a news conference with the Celina Police Department giving an update on the criminal investigation into former Celina ISD teacher and coach Caleb Elliott. I just want to kind of walk you through what we just listened to in case you joined us midway through. You know, this is a case that has been going on for weeks, has been really impactful in the Celina community, and has actually gained national attention. Caleb Elliott is accused of sexually exploiting children after he was found to have been allegedly recording middle school student athletes in the locker room. And I want to walk through the charges that were announced. Some of these had already been announced. But according to the Celina Police Department, Beginning with his arrest on October 3rd, he faces charges of invasive visual recording, possession or promotion of child pornography, and sexual performance of a child. The FBI Dallas office also announced today that he faces 8 charges with federal charges as well, including 7 charges of production of child pornography and 1 count of attempted production of child pornography. You know, there have been so many questions around this case. The Celina Police Department said that there were 38 victims identified, and after weeks of interviewing witnesses and weeks of going through social media data, they don't have any reason to believe that there are more than 38 victims at this time, though they said if there are more who want to come forward, who may have a delayed reaction, they want to hear from those people. They said that they identified more than 10 images, but fewer than 50, which is important in how these charges come down. And we just heard from the police department just walking through different things. Of course, over the past few weeks, there have been a lot of allegations, a lot of speculation. We know that this former teacher was someone who had been teaching at a high school and then moved to a middle school, so questions about why his assignment had changed. The police department says that at this time, with all of their investigating, they didn't find a correlation between that decision to move him to a different school and any criminal activity. And they said actually, from their investigation, they are saying that the first time the Celina ISD was made aware that Caleb Elliott was involved in any criminal activity was when the police department told them that he was being arrested after 2 witnesses came to the police department to make a report against him. There had also been questions about Bill Elliott, who is Caleb Elliott's father and also the district's athletic director and head football coach. He's currently on leave. There were questions about what he knew about this situation and if he did know anything, how long. Celina Police today is saying that he did not have any knowledge that his son was taking part in criminal activity, and if he had known about that, that would have been criminal activity on his behalf. So they were, denying any allegations that he had any knowledge of that. They said that their charges, their investigations really at this point focused solely on Caleb Elliott. They also denied any claims that there had been cameras and hidden cameras planted in the locker room. They said they did not see any evidence of that, and that they are really focusing on the charges at hand that we just walked through, and that all of their charges are directly related to allegations of Elliott filming students with a cell phone. So that is what we just heard from Celina Police. They say that they have finished their active investigation, but they doubled down and said, hey, criminal investigations like this are never truly finished. If throughout this process, as these charges go through the court system, more victims come forward, there's discovery that reveals that more work needs to be done, he said that work will be done. So that is our coverage at this point of the Celina Police news release. We're going to keep going over this throughout the day. You will see our reporting on this throughout the day. We had a reporter and a crew in the room asking questions, so you can follow this coverage online and throughout our newscast that will be on air. And of course, if we have any major developments, we'll catch you up on those here as well.